Hello everyone, this is my EDH deck tech for Grand Arbiter. I wanted to kind of document this and just put it out there for other people to see. This is for a semi-competitive, I guess you could say, EDH deck. Definitely not casual. Most play groups don't even let me play, but that's okay. Anyway, I wanted to just get this on film, maybe get it out there so other people can maybe look at it for their own personal gain, or maybe even throw me ideas if they've played similar decks or whatever the case. But let's get started. I just wanted to go over this here. I have no particular order. Here's the lands that exist. Pretty typical stuff. I mean, if it's a blue-white duel, it's probably in here, or at least most of them are. Like Prairie Stream, Tundra, Port Town, some islands, Reflecting Pool. There's Miki Koro. I love Miki Koro. Being able to draw cards. You don't care if they're drawing cards. You can group hug a little bit every now and then. It keeps the game interesting. But I really like Miki Koro. Also like Gaia Reach Sanitarium's another one that's similar. Or Glacial Fortress. Thawing Glaciers is a weird one. I like this card a lot. Also shout out to Jeff Menges. I love his freaking artwork. It's awesome. So you go like turn 1, you play this, it comes in tapped. You untap it, you go to turn 2, you play your other land. Then you pay 1, tap this, search for a basic, put it in the plate, tapped, and then this returns to your hand at the end of turn. So it kind of keeps you on par, just lets you tutor out lands, but you really don't get to do anything else in the meantime. Now, the one stipulation with this card is that it doesn't return to your hand until the end of turn. So if you're playing a deck where you can kind of abuse that, you can kind of ramp with this card. I don't really abuse it. I normally have Teferi, the mono blue one from Commander 2014, I think it was, in my deck. I don't have him in right now, but he lets you untap permanents. So like you could abuse this card. I don't really do that, but you probably should. But anyway, another Flooded Strand, Mystic Gate. I love Mystic Gate. Fred Fields, shout out to you for that artwork, man. I love it. I love it. Thespian Stage, just, copy something that you have, whether it be like an extra, now you have an extra Temple of the False God, or copy somebody else's stuff, or you copy like, strip mines, or whatever the case is. But just a very nice card to have. Thespian Stage is awesome. Nimbus Maze, just another duel. Misty Rainforest, for reasons, it's a fetch land. Command Tower, because it's Command Tower. Temple of the False God, because it's Temple of the False God. The Strip Mine, nice to have. This one is currently, it's literally missing parts of the card, but hey, you save money where you save money, I guess, right? So you have Strip Mine, Reliquary Tower. I watching like people talking, they say the Reliquary Tower is like a useless, that it's a handicap, that it's useless. This deck does not make this card useless. Drawing cards is fun. I like drawing cards, and I like keeping them in my hand, not throwing them into the graveyard. So anyway, Reliquary Tower. I feel like it goes in almost any commander deck, especially if you've got a group hug player in your play group. But anyway, another fetch land, another duel. Fetchable duels are nice. Boseiju is a choice. I like to play this card. Being able to resolve certain things, like later on we'll get into it, but this card just making your stuff uncounterable is really, 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 really useful. You can't go wrong. I love it. But anyway, so that's the land base. Not much to say. I mean, it's pretty typical. I think it's typical. Maybe some people wouldn't go for the Tundra because that seems kind of wasteful. But I already happen to have one, so it just became part of the deck once I realized I had one. But all these duels are just really, really convenient. Still a lot of basic lands though too, which is nice for when other people play things like Tempt with Discovery and stuff like that. You want to be able to search out your duels or your basics when you're able to, and Thawing Glaciers, having basics for that, and being sort of Wasteland proof, Blood Moon proof, back to basics proof type things. Very powerful in my opinion. I spoke about that in my Legacy deck tech. But anyway, so next thing I want to talk about, this card. I love this card. When this got printed, it went in the commander deck. It's amazing. With Boseiju, it's even more funny, because I don't know if more funny is even proper English, but you get the point. It's just a win condition. I don't have too many of those, so this is really nice to have. Even if they counter it the first time, it doesn't matter. As long as I resolve it the second time, it's nice. I don't have too many ways to recur it to my hand or my deck, though. If it ends up getting countered, it's kind of problematic. But regardless, I mean, it's one of the win conditions I have. It's very nice, very powerful. Also, gaining 7 life is relevant. So that's cool. Anyway, approach is awesome. Next thing I want to talk about. Where is it? Kind of a secondary win condition kind of thing. I don't really have too many, like I said. Is Augustin Angel of Hope. Just giving everything indestructible is pretty valuable. A lot of board wipes are destroy based, not exile based. So this really helps just, prevent that kind of stuff. I play a few board wipes of my own that say destroy on them. So this makes them kind of not symmetrical, which is pretty powerful as well. But it's just like another win condition. I mean, you lock up a game hard enough, she just becomes an 8/8 beat stick that no one can do anything about. And I feel that's pretty powerful. Put that over there. I will scoop this guy in with the others. He's technically not a Planeswalker, but he becomes a Planeswalker. Vryn's Prodigy, love this card. It's a half and half thing. I really don't need to play it. I kind of just play it because I like it. I think the Snapcaster Mage ability on its Planeswalker side is fairly relevant. Some people might say otherwise. I think it's good. I know this one's in Japanese. I apologize. I have some foreign cards, but it makes a creature -2/-0 until your next turn. That's cool. I mean, it's kind of menial, especially in like EDH. But I mean, whatever. -3, you get the Snapcaster, or snap back a card from your graveyard. That's cool. -9, you get an emblem that whenever you cast a spell, opponent mills 5 cards. That's pretty cool as well. I like it a lot. It's good. Mind Sculptor, it's Mind Sculptor. I mean, it's not anywhere near as powerful in this deck as it is in like Miracles and Legacy, or even now that it's unbanned in Modern. It can be even more powerful there, but it's still a very good card. I mean, Brainstorms all day. I love it. I play a few cards that have Miracles, so it's relevant. Bounces a creature. You look at the top card of your own deck or someone else's deck, leave it there, put it at the bottom. I mean, Fate Seal and Scry is valuable. And -12, you just basically kick someone out of the game if you don't like them. So I like it. This is new. I haven't even played with this yet. I just put this in like a day ago, 2 days ago. This new Teferi that came out in War of the Spark. Not much to say because I don't have much to say because I haven't played it yet, but it looks good. Slowing down your opponents, keeping them from playing stuff on your turn and other people's turns is pretty powerful. Giving yourself the ability to cast sorceries at instant speed is great. And then bouncing artifact, creature, enchantment, and then drawing a card. That's also very powerful. So anyway, yeah, looks good. And then this guy, I swear, Will Kenrith, this card is... no one even talked about this card. Like, I didn't even know this existed until a few weeks ago. This card is amazingly powerful. I've kept games under control with this +2 ability to the point where he was at like 20 loyalty or 18 loyalty. He just shuts off 2 creatures, makes them 0/3s, and they lose all abilities. It's insane. I think that's really powerful. And in some one-on-one games, it feels even more powerful. It's awesome. I love it. The -2 ability is also completely hilarious. Target player draws 2 cards, and then until your next turn, instant sorcery Planeswalker spells they cast cost 2 less. I mean, normally you target yourself, but you want to get political. You can mess with people and give other people bonuses with this. I mean, this is hilarious. I love this card. -8, target player gets an emblem with whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. That's a powerful emblem as well. I mean, it requires you to have things to use it, but that's okay. I mean, honestly, this underrated card, in my opinion, like I said, no one, maybe it was just coincidence for me that no one around me was talking about it, but this card is powerful. It's great. I love it. Also, shout out to Anna Steinbauer for the artwork. I think it's beautiful artwork for both Rowan and Will. But yeah, anyway, just great card. Amazing. I love it. What is this here? I don't know why this is in this pile. Whatever, it doesn't matter. We'll talk about it now anyway. Dictator Crewfix. You know why it's in here? Because of Howling Mine. Dictator Crewfix and Howling Mine. What more to say? I mean, just speeds up the games. Yeah, you let everyone draw more cards, but honestly, a little bit of group hug goes a long way. You don't mind, letting people draw cards. And you could even play things like the new Nar set that came out that doesn't let opponents draw more than 1 card each turn, and then basically these become just bonuses for you. But honestly, even as they're printed alone, they're powerful. I just think they're great cards. So, in my opinion, always play cards like these. They make games more fun. Because even when they're casual, even when it's casual or competitive, these are still powerful cards and they still help you. So, personally, I think they're great. Elixir of Immortality, one of my few ways to recover my graveyard into my deck and gain some life. I just love this card. I think it's a mainstay in a lot of commander decks. I think it's always playable, always useful, powerful. So, I mean, you know, think what you will about it. Some people don't like it. It doesn't really do anything. It doesn't net you a card. It doesn't do much. But as games go long, especially if there's other people playing similar type, you know, competitive control, prison, taxi, you know, decks, I mean, this kind of card can really swing the game in your favor just because they're going to deck out before you do, and sadly, sometimes that's what it takes. But anyway, Elixir, great card. I love it. Sensei's Divining Top, great card. Broken. I do have Counterbalance in this deck as well. Commander top Counterbalance combo isn't as broken as it is in like Legacy, or as it is in like other formats like that, but it's still good. And it still gets a few counters. You know, it's the Counterbalance still counters a few cards throughout the game, so it's still relevant, and it keeps people on their toes. Along with Future Sight, I mean, it lets them see the card, but you don't really care. I mean, if you know they have like a 5-mana spell and you don't want them to play it, then you just leave like a 5-mana card on top. And even though they know it's there and you know it's there, it doesn't matter. They just don't play it then. But anyway, I love this card. I played Miracles for a long time, and this card was always broken. When they banned it, you know, rightfully so, I guess, in when you look at it from a logical perspective. But it was sad, but, you know, it still shines here in Commander for me. So I like this card a lot. Just good fixing. Being able to draw a card at instant speed when you need it. It's awesome. But anyway, I don't need to say too much. So move on from that. Talk about this card. Temporal Mastery. Turn spells. Any of them. They're good. I don't play a lot. I was playing Expropriate. I was playing this. And I was playing Time Stretch. I'm not a combo deck. I'm not playing any type of like, you know, oh, take a bunch of extra turns one after the other. And I might take 1 or 2 extra turns in a whole game depending on how my deck's built. It's just there because, hey, if I Miracle this, great. That's awesome. Like, it's just an extra turn. It lets me set up some lock pieces, whatever. Good card. I might put Expropriate back in. We'll see. Anyway, so not much to say there. Just good card. A couple removal spells. I don't know why I put these off to the sides particularly, but Swords to Plowshares is Swords to Plowshares. You know, Path could be Path, could have both, whatever. 1-mana removal spells are great. So, Capsize. Hilarious. Broken. If someone decides they want to play budget Commander and you're playing in like a competitive scene and they're playing like bounce lands, you will make them very upset. This card is broken, buyback's broken, Capsize is broken. Capsize that only costs 5 total when you buy it back instead of 6 because of Grand Arbiter is even more broken. Yeah, I mean, you can do so much with this card. I think it's hysterical. I've never taken it out. It's been in my deck since the first time I threw this, but even as a budget deck, it was in there. Like, it's just a really good card. You can't not have it. So, Capsize for days. Never take it out, in my opinion. More removal. Board wipes. Cyclonic Rift. In case anyone's not familiar with what that does, you pay 2 mana, instant, return target non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand. So it's like a bad bounce spell. But if you pay 6 in blue instead of 1 in blue, you return all non-land permanents you don't control to their owner's hand. So it's kind of like just like a board wipe, just it bounces them instead of destroying or exiling them. Very powerful instant speed. Instant speed, very important. End of like the last person's turn right before yours, you just undo everyone's work. You bounce everything, then you set up like locked pieces. Very powerful. Supreme Verdict, Wrath of God. Pretty typical cards. I mean, destroy all creatures. Yeah, this one can't be countered. Very powerful. I love them. It's just mainstays. You can play more or less depending on how you want to play. Terminus. Another board wipe. 1-mana board wipes are really good. Whether they are planned or random. Terminus. Always play Terminus. Very good. Mana Rocks. These kind of change. I have a couple that are missing, I think, at the moment from the deck, but Soul Ring, Mind Stone, Azure Signet, Chromatic Lantern, Gilded Lotus, Thought Vessel. There's others out there too. Some people like cards like Darksteel Ingot because it's indestructible. Whatever. I mean, kind of go however you want with these. I think this is pretty okay how I have this set up. It could be better, maybe. It could be worse as well. I like this. It doesn't let me down too much. What am I missing? I forget what card I think I might be missing. I don't know. I'll have to look at it later. But anyway, so yeah, great cards, I think, personally. So, yeah. Some draw spells and things related. I have Ancestral Vision, because it's a good card. Preordain. Ponder. Portent. Let's see, what else is... where's Brainstorm? I think there's a Brainstorm somewhere it's not supposed to be. There's a Brainstorm here, too. Just your typical cantrips are good cards. Rev is hysterical, especially when it costs 2 less because of Grand Arbiter. People don't like you, but it's okay, because you get to draw a bunch and gain a bunch of life. Standstill. Probably the least competitive card in the deck. I don't even play manlands at all. Reasoning, I just don't play manlands. I don't know why. Colony's not even expensive. I should just buy one. But regardless, it's more of a, you know, you play this and you want to see what happens. It's probably the only card in the deck I really don't want to keep in competitive wise, but I love the card. You can't really plan too well because you don't know what's going to happen. Someone has to break this eventually. In Commander, I've never broken this card myself. I've played it and it's always worked out. It could easily backfire in the wrong situation if you're not careful. So think about it what you will. I like the card. You know, whoever plays a spell, whoever breaks this standstill, lets everyone else draw 3 cards. It's a funny card. It's political. It's fun. It's cool. It's creative. It is probably the least competitive card in the deck because it doesn't really... It's hard to play. It's hard to plan when you play it. It can go really wrong if you're not careful. But I like it, so it stays in. We got Time Spiral. This card is not in here for any other reason other than just it's Time Spiral. There's no combo. There's no High Tide. I guess the most combo-y thing I do is it costs 1 less if Grand Arbiter's in play, and I get to untap an extra land and net 1 mana. Or if I have like Temple of the False God and I get to net a mana off that. It's not played for any broken reason other than just to refuel if it's, I'm out of gas, no cards in hand, or low cards, or just bad cards. It's just a nice overall card. So think about what you will. Some people would probably not play this card. I could see that being a good, choice as well. I just like the card a lot. It's been there when I needed it. If you know your opponents have really good cards in hand, you can make them throw their hands away. Like just very, very useful things. Like you Psych Rift on the end of the last person's turn, and then you just Time Spiral. And it's pretty fun. So anyway, I like Time Spiral. Fact or Fiction, because Fact or Fiction. There's always that one guy in your group when you target him with Fact or Fiction, and he says 5-0. All 5 in one pile, none in the other, and you get to draw 5 cards for 4 mana. And there's also people who will take their time and play it the way it's supposed to be played and make you choose between 2 really hard piles. And it's a fun card. It's a thought-provoking card. It requires, I think, skill to play it correctly, and skill when you're the target in this situation as well to make the piles correctly. I suck at making piles when people play Fact or Fiction against me. I never know what they need and don't need, and I never know what goes with what and what pile should go where, but it's a good card. It's also got great artwork. I love Therese Nielsen's artwork. Shout out to Therese Nielsen. Not that she's watching this, but still. I love Fact or Fiction. So, yeah, Fact or Fiction. My enchantment suite is pretty big. I am all over the place with this enchantment suite. I love Future Sight. You don't even need to draw cards anymore. You just go crazy with Future Sight. You don't care that people know what the top card is. They'll be scared of it. That's fine. Future Sight's amazing. You should always play Future Sight in a blue control deck in Commander. So, enough said on that. Invoke Prejudice. Spicy card on my part. I only play 3 total creatures. One of them is my Commander. Sometimes I don't even play my Commander. And one of the other creatures is Jace Vryn's Prodigy, and he becomes a Planeswalker at some point. This card is broken in so many ways when you're not playing creatures. Even if you are playing creatures, you're only 1 or 2 colors, it's still a powerful card. 4 blue mana for an enchantment that basically says, if an opponent casts a creature spell, and that spell doesn't share a color with one of your creatures, they have to pay X, where X is that creature's mana cost, or else counter it. So if they cast a Kozilek, Butcher of Truth, Or if they cast, say, an Augustin of their own, right? Augustin, Angel of Hope. Since you control no creatures, it doesn't share a color. So they have to pay 8 to cast it, and then they have to pay 8 colorless, or else it gets countered. So you either slow them down or lock them out completely. Some people wouldn't play this kind of card. I think this card's hilarious because nobody plays around it, because nobody expects it. Invoke Prejudice is a broken card. Shout out to Harold McNeil. I'm not afraid to say I think his art's amazing. Some people really don't like his art. They think he's a Nazi, he's a racist, and he draws art like this. I mean, it's the point of the card, right? It's the flavor of the card. It's called Invoke Prejudice. So let's grow up here and accept it for what it is. It's art. He's allowed to make whatever he wants. But anyway, shout out to Harold McNeil. He's great. This card's broken. It's powerful. You probably don't need to play something like this. I think it's perfect for the deck. So, make that choice yourself if you build a deck that's similar. But I don't think I have to say much. Rhystic Study. Play Rhystic Study. It's a blue deck. You draw blank cards. No one ever pays it. Counterbalance goes with Sensei's Divining Top. Also with Future Sight. You just lock people out of a game sometimes. Like I said before, it's nowhere near as good as it is in Legacy. But this card is still very powerful even in this deck and in this format. If you're playing a prison or a stack, or not stacks, but like a tax deck or just any type of pseudo similar deck like this, you play this card along with Top. In a competitive sense, I mean, if you're just playing casually at your local FNM, you probably don't want to play like Countertop because people might get upset. My local FNM type crowd doesn't like to really play EDH with me. It is what it is. It's fine. I don't blame them for it. I'm not mad at them about it. But anyway, powerful card, great card. Treachery. It's the only type of spell I really have in this deck that steals things. I used to play Blatant Thievery because it was hysterical in a 4-player game. But really, this is just better. I mean, you can net mana off this just like with Time Spiral, because if it costs 1 less thanks to Grand Arbiter, or if you have like Temple of the False God or like Lotus Veil, and you can untap lands that are giving you more than 1 mana, like you can use this in really creative ways. You can take their scariest threat, not only take it away from them, but then you get it. So that's powerful. Also, you untap the lands. Like I said, you can net mana. You can even use this to gain mana. So very powerful card. I love Treachery. I think it's a staple for Commander. I think you should pick these up now while you can before they go up in price, because they are reserve lists, so just a heads up on that. But yeah, great card. Matt Wilson, great artist, great artwork. Fun card. Awesome. Oblivion Ring. I don't know why it's not Detention Sphere. Either way, point of the story, it's still a good card. Just a catch-all, exile whatever you need to exile. Good card. Copy Artifact. I haven't really used this yet. I recently just put it in. I think it's a great Commander card. Again, reserve list. Pick them up now while they're $20-$30. Don't let them get any higher and have to pay a ridiculous amount of money for a card that you barely use anyway. But this card's good when it's good. And when it's good, it's great. And when it's great, it's excellent. There's like the one time I think I used it. I did something stupid. It didn't even feel good, but at the same time it was useful where I was able to like copy my Sensei's Divining Top. Like someone just goes to destroy it or something. But anyway, it's very powerful card. And because I play like Leyline of Anticipation, I can do it at instant speed, like I'm saying about copy and top and stuff. This card can just be used in very weird ways. You can copy other people's stuff too. I think it's powerful. I think you should pick one up if you're playing a deck like this, or maybe even not like this. It might be good in many other decks too that play blue. So just a nice card to have on hand. Very, very good card. I got Moat. Now this one was just a personal choice. This card's a bit out of reach from, I would say most people wouldn't want to pay $300, $400, $500, $600 for a copy of a card like this. I really wanted it because I wanted to have it for my Miracles sideboard as well if I ever needed it. So I picked one up at a good price. It was selling it so cheap, I thought it was fake. It was like, I think I paid like $250 cash and like $50 in trade for it. Great card. Non-flying creatures can't attack. You could pair this with a few other cards. I forget off the name. Was it Island Sanctuary maybe? Maybe something else. Whatever other card makes creatures lose flying, and then no one can attack anyone. I just play it because it shuts off most creatures. I don't mind. Some flyers get through, that's fine. It just helps keep some of the damage away. Prevents people from killing each other as quickly. Not keep the game going longer, but keep myself from dying. Or if I have a partner who I'm playing with, keep them from dying. Moat, great card. Jeff Menges, great artist, great artwork. I have the print. I picked up a print from him at GP Niagara Falls. the Legacy GP. Great artist, nice guy, very, very open, friendly person. But yeah, great artwork, great card, staple, iconic card in my opinion. Great in Commander. So I'd say if you have the means to get one, it's great in a deck like this, in my personal opinion. But probably not really needed or required. But anyway, so yep, there's Moat. Mystic Remora. It's Mystic Remora. It's your Rhystic Study number 2. It's only for non-creatures, and it has cumulative upkeep, but they have to pay 4, or you draw the card, which is pretty broken. There's times where I've only kept it around for a turn or 2 and drawn like 2, 3, 4, 5 cards off of it, and I let it die. You don't want to keep paying for this, especially if it's early on, because you're never going to be able to gain any mana. You have to keep paying more and more each turn, to the point where I think one time I kept it around for like 6 turns, and I played it on like turn 3, so I only ever had a couple mana open because I had to keep paying more and more for this thing. But it's a great card. It's a vintage staple. Sometimes it showed up in Legacy a little bit, not too often though. And it's also, in my opinion, an EDH staple. It's a great card. Ken Mayer, great artwork. Playable in my opinion, always playable. So pick these up. Pick one of these up too if you don't have one. Search for Azcanta, the card that should be in my Miracles deck and isn't, and I don't know why. But anyway, great card. Flips into a land that either taps for blue or pay 3 and tap, and you look at the top 4 of your library and you get a non-creature, non-land, show it and put it in your hand. Very powerful card. Also on the front, it just lets you filter your draws. So even if you don't want to flip it, you don't have to. You can just every turn look at the top card. You can leave it there and put it in your graveyard. So if you have any graveyard shenanigans, it's valuable. Even if you just want to use it for filtering, it's great. I think this is a great card. Magali's artwork is also beautiful. I know I keep talking about people's art. I can't get over it. I love some of this art. But anyway, powerful card. It's just any type of blue control deck I feel like wants this in Commander. So great card. We got Leyline of Anticipation. If you're not playing blue, you can play Videlkin Ori, but I'm playing blue. I play Leyline of Anticipation. I used to play both, but it's just unnecessary and redundant. Leyline's great. It allows you to do stupid shenanigans. Like I said before, I copied my top in response to someone killing it after I tried to draw with it with a copy artifact, and I was able to do that because of the Leyline of Anticipation. It's a great card. Lets you cast everything at instant speed, basically. Pretty cool. I mean, there's not much to say. It just lets you play a completely different type of control game than you're used to. But great card. And last enchantment I have here is Propaganda. Just another random type of Ghostly Prison type effect. Why don't I have a Ghostly Prison? I don't have a Ghostly Prison. Okay, we're going to fix that at some point. But anyway, Propaganda, great card. If they want to attack you with a creature, they have to pay 2. So even if the moat's not doing the job or you don't have the moat, you have this instead. This is still pretty good. It slows them down. It's a deterrent. It doesn't completely shut them off, right? They can still attack you if they want, but they have to pay 2 for each creature that attacks you. I think it's a good card. Another staple, I think, along with Ghostly Prison and even the moat, to just kind of slow the game down or keep people from attacking you. And last but not least, I have a stack of cards here. These, my friends, are counter spells. I play way too many counter spells. You don't have to do this. It works out for me really well. That's why I do it. I don't even know. I didn't count them. I don't know how many are here, but I mean, there's Rewind. Rewind's amazing. You counter target spell on tap up to 4 lands. Allow you to net some mana if you need to. I like Exclude. Counters a creature spell and then you draw a card. I think that's great. I think Mystic Confluence is like Cryptic Command 2.0. I think it's broken because you can choose the same mode more than once. So you can like literally Mana Leak something and then draw 2 cards, or double Mana Leak, draw a card, or Mana Leak, bounce something to its owner's hand and then draw a card. I love this freaking card. The artwork's also really, really, really nice. So yeah. Anyway, Disallow, just another good counterspell. It's a Stifle mixed with a counterspell. 3 mana seems fair. It's a great card overall. Catch-all card. Stop a Jace ultimate, stop a fetch land, stop anything you want. Memory Lapse. I like Memory Lapse a lot, especially this Greg Staples artwork one. Beautiful, beautiful artwork. Counter spell, put it on top of their library instead. It allows for some shenanigans if you have other cards that care about that. Like, I don't know, if you play like Predict and you want to like counter it to the top of their deck and then you can predict it away or something. But Arcane Denial, a group hug counterspell, 2 mana counter spell. On the next upkeep, they draw 2 cards, you draw 1 card. It's a fun counter spell. People don't feel as bad when you counter with Arcane Denial because it's like they lose the spell, but then they draw 2 cards. And Cryptic Command, great card. Just overall, good card. I mean, whatever's relevant, you choose your modes that are relevant. It could be a fog, it draws you a card, you bounce a permanent to its owner's hand, and you counterspell. It's great. Now, there's that brainstorm that shouldn't be in this pile. It should have been in the other pile, but there it is. Brainstorm is very efficient. I love brainstorm. Always play brainstorm. Always be brainstorming. Scattering Stroke. It should be a mana drain, but for some reason it's not, and we'll get there eventually. I like Scattering Stroke, though. It's kind of fun because you get the clash. So it's like really, really bad mana drain. You counterspell, and then you clash, and if you win, then you get the mana. If you don't, then, you don't get the mana. But it does allow you to clash, which is relevant because you can choose to put that card on the bottom. So the scry, it's kind of like scrying, but your opponent gets to do it too. But it's cool. I like the card. It's kind of, I like Franz's artwork too. So it's kind of cool. I like it. But yeah, it should just be a mana drain. So you can pretend that's a mana drain. Dissolve. I like Dissolve a lot. Just counterspells. Scry one. It's fine. Hinder. I like Hinder a lot. Counterspell. And if it's countered that way, put it on the bottom of their deck. I like that. This is one of the new ones I talked about when I did my War of the Spark box opening. Dovin's Veto. It's basically strictly better negate. It's awesome. It's a negate that can't be countered. No reason not to play it. I'm in blue-white, so. Disdainful Stroke. Another good counterspell. Everyone's playing cards that cost 4 or greater mana cost, so it's fine. It's great. Perfect. I like Dismiss because it's the 2 most common modes on Cryptic Command, but that's all you get. You can't choose others. But I like it. I like Dismiss. I think it's fine. 4 mana counterspell, draw a card. It's great. So I like Spell Crumple a lot because you get to counter spell and then put this and their spell on the bottom of their owner's libraries. And I just think that's pretty cool. Also, Dan Scott, shout out. Some creepy artwork. I like it a lot. Negate. It's Negate. Flusterstorm. Recently now just leaked, I think, this morning for Modern Horizons as the buy box promo. So people can get their hands on this a little more easily now. I love Flusterstorm. I don't play it in Legacy, and there's reasons for that. And I'll talk about that maybe in a future video. I'm not going to worry about that right now. But great, just a great another counterspell to have. No reason not to. It's great. It's cool. It's fun. It causes some issues with, especially with if people aren't as familiar with how the stack works, and like things get really messy and you have to get a pen and paper and draw lines between different copies of the spell, targeting different spells and targeting this thing and that thing. And it's a freaking nightmare, but I love it. Flusterstorm, beautiful artwork from Erica Yang. Wish I could get this signed, get a hold of her to get some prints. I would love to have this hanging on my wall, but that's besides the point. Flusterstorm's awesome. Render Silent, counter their spell and shut them up. They can't do anything else for the rest of the turn. Good card, no reason not to play it. I love it. Best card from Dragon's Maze at this point, in my opinion. Hey, look, it's counterspell. It's counterspell. No reason not to play counterspell. Yeah. Summary Dismissal. I like this card a lot. You exile all other spells and all abilities on the stack. It shuts everything off. Exiles them. It doesn't counter them. It gets around uncounterability. Shut off their Abrupt Decay. Just exiles it completely. If they cast Ulamog to Ceaseless Hunger, you exile the Ulamog and the triggers. If they crack a fetch land, it exiles the ability. It does everything. It gets rid of everything. I love this card. I think it's a great inclusion in any commander deck that's playing counter magic. I think you should have this card. So, yeah, great card. Last but not least, the one that I think probably doesn't even need to be in here and is kind of awkward, Remand. I love Remand. There are times where this card's really good. There's also times late game where this card just doesn't do anything. But I don't mind it as much because it's 2 mana and then I can just cycle it. Like, oh, they cast something like, I don't know, they cast the Wrath of God. And I'm like, well, I'll just remand the Wrath of God, basically draw a card. So just like 2 mana cycle, make them pay 4 more mana. Like, early on, it's great. It feels bad later in the game, but that's okay. So, anyway, yeah, remand's cool. All right, well, that's the deck. That's all she wrote. A lot of changes, like I said, things that I don't have in here that I should, and things that maybe need to come out and get changed. But for the most part, it's getting where I want it to be. But it will always be a work in progress. So, tell Mr. Grand Arbiter goodbye. We will see you guys later, and thank you very much for watching. You take care.